Here we're going to look at creating an event using VX in association with InterAction, specifically the additional fields within an event folder. So I have a demo folder here called an event folder. Already have one person in there, but what I really want to show are the additional fields associated with it. So I have one that says accommodation yes no, got some dietary requirements, all the normal things, and then RSVP. So what we want is people to register for our event and answer those questions. So if we go back into VX, we can start the process. So as an event manager, I probably have to honor my brand and do things in a similar way every time. The idea here is that I give my event a name, something appropriate for the event, following naming conventions. I choose my template, the event template in this case, and then I create my event. Now, a template isn't just a single page in VX, it is everything that goes with that. So in this case, an event is going to have a save the date, the actual invitation itself, a thank you email once someone has registered, then a reminder that goes out the day before the event perhaps, thank you for coming email with any materials that I want to make available, and then a survey asking people what they thought of the event. So today we're actually only going to send the invitation, but the idea is that everything else is there ready for me to customize and send. So to edit these pages, all I have to do is click on the area I want to edit, change any text in this case. I can preview that and see how it looks within the main email. I'm also going to delete these first name last name fields, and I'm going to re-add them in. Now the point of this is just to show you how easy it is to add them in, and when this does get sent, then it's going to pull that data directly from InterAction and populate it, so it will say my first name and last name when we see this email later. Editing images is equally as easy. I hover over the image I want to edit and click it. Takes me to the image library where I can upload a new image if I choose, or I can select one that already exists in the library. You'll see that it automatically resized that image because it was too big for the area, but I'm going to make it a bit bigger and move the crop around. I can add a link on top of it, or I can choose to link to one of the other pages that are part of this email. So now that's done, let's move on to the registration form. So this has to live online. Registration forms cannot render within an email itself. So this particular form, if I click on it, I can edit. I will choose the instance of InterAction I'm using. I have a number of choices. Then I go and select my event folder, the an event folder, and automatically the additional fields are there ready for me to use. So I'm just going to put those in underneath the already populated part of the form. And then I can go on and edit the way that this actually appears. So for example, RSVP is a great name for InterAction, but something more compelling might be appropriate, so can you make it? And then I'm going to get rid of the additional questions that are part of that. I don't need to know if people are tentative. I just want the yes and the no. And then I'm going to bounce people to an appropriate landing page depending on whether they say yes or no, and those, as you saw, are editable within the landing pages area. Now, as I said, I want people to receive this thank you email once they've registered, so all I have to do is just tag this as something that's going to get sent out once the form's been filled in. So a notification template is what it's going to be tagged as. Now the reason I did that is when I go back to my form, I go to my notifications area of the form and I can set a rule up saying once someone fills this form out and registers, then they will receive this email. So I'm naming it thanks. That's the template I just tagged. I'm going to have it come from that email address. This is the subject line, and then all I have to do is pick the two. Now the two in this case is going to be people who have filled out the form. I can also add CC, BCC fields as well if anyone else needs to know when the registration comes in. Now I'm also going to do another form which is going to be blank, and as I go through creating this in basically the exact same way as the previous form, except this time I'm going to mark them all as blank fields. What this is when someone receives an email, it does pre-populate the fields based on what is already held about them in InterAction. So say I receive an email and I'm not interested in the event, I can forward it to somebody else, and then if they go into this form, or rather the previous form, it will be populated with my details, which is no good. So there's a big old button there that says if you're not Matt, and it's a mail merge field, so it'll say the appropriate thing. Then click here and they'll be presented with the blank form, which is what we've just created here. So I'm going to add the notification to this in the same way as I just did, so everything's completely standard. Just on this, once someone is registering and they didn't exist in InterAction, then they can go through your regular promotion processes within InterAction, so they can be dealt with as a new contact, as well as obviously registering for the event. So let's take a very quick look at the preferences form here. Now again, this is something that will pre-populate directly from InterAction when it's viewed, and really what it does is allow people to change which marketing lists they appear on, as well as see the data that's held about them in InterAction and make any changes. Now that, if it is amended, will follow any data change management processes you have. So let's just approve, or rather publish, these emails and the pages. Now this can be an approval process if you want. In this instance I can self-publish, but there can be a middle step in there so that my managing partner maybe, has to look at this and approve it. Let's just make one additional change to this and link up to that preferences form. So I added in some more text, and then all I do is select the page that I want to link to from the drop down. Simple as that. And while we're here, we may as well make this a slightly larger font so it stands out. Typically, of course, this is something that's seen at the bottom of an email, maybe next to the opt-out link. So let's just save this, quick preview and save, and then publish, and then we are ready to send out the email. So all I have to do is hit the send button and I'm presented with my send page. So we'll have this come from a default email address. I'm going to use the personalized from field. Now in this case what that means is that this email is going to come from the owner attorney or sponsor attorney as dictated in InterAction, because I'm using a sponsored list. So let's change the subject line. We're going to send this now, but as you saw I could choose to send it later. I'm going to send this from InterAction. So again, based on my permissions in InterAction, I can choose who I'm going to send this to. So I'm going to send this to one of my mailing lists. I'm going to mark this as an event email. Now this is all about opt-outs, so it's going to check against the event anti-list and the send no marketing communications list, and make sure that those people don't receive the email. And we're ready to send, so off it goes. So let's just do a quick refresh here in my email. And here's the email, so let's open this up. And let's click on some of these links. Let's register for this event. So I'm going to go and hit the register as Matt Parfitt link, which obviously bounces me to that form that is pre-populated with my details. If I did receive this and I'm not Matt Parfitt, then I would click this other link and it would take me to the blank form. But let's go back and just finish off this registration. So yes, I want accommodation, and I eat absolutely everything, and yes, I can make it. So let's hit the submit. It will take me to the thank you page, and at the same time it's sending me another email. So let's go back to my Gmail, and there you go. You can see that in my inbox I've now got another email. So here's the registration confirmation. Just unblock that, and there you go. So let's take a quick look in the email again and just click on one or two more links. So if I just do the forward to a friend, what that does is it'll bounce me to another page where I can type in the email address of the person I want to forward this to. They will then receive this email. And if they want to register, of course, they can register as a new contact. So that's gone. Okay, let's go back to InterAction and see what has happened. So if I just hit refresh here, then we can see that we've got a new registration to our event, and clicking on it shows in the bottom right that I've got the forms, or rather the additional fields, filled out. But let's go in and have a closer look at this profile. So a number of activities have been added. So let's look at this first one. It says an email's been sent, and there is a link to the actual email itself. So any attorneys that are looking at this will instantly know what's been sent. Then the next one that's in there says that an event has been registered for, and if I just click on the event folder, then you can see that those are my details. The third one shows all of the pages that I've visited from this particular email. Now this is pages on my website, as well as the pages that are those landing pages, and again all of the links are there, so you've got some nice intelligence there. And then finally, I did a forward to a friend, so there's an activity against that, and I have the email address of the person that I forwarded it to as well. There is a lot more reporting in VX, but that will be covered another day.